Hello, my name's Dave Beck. I'm a host at KUOW Public Radio here in Seattle, and I'm appearing today in my role as a board member of Simple Measures, a very exciting chamber music venture in the Seattle area. And I'm here with the artistic director of Simple Measures. I, in my life outside of radio, am a cellist, so I have particular admiration for this gentleman who's sitting next to me, Rajan Krishnaswami, who is a fantastic cellist and the artistic director of Simple Measures. And good to be here with you today, Rajan.
Thanks, Dave. It's nice to be here with you.
We're going to talk about the season finale of this Simple Measures season that's been called String Theory. You're not above a good pun, Rajan, are you?
Oh, puns are us, definitely. We like those.
Well, and before we talk about the String Theory season, where we've been so far, where we're headed, tell me a little bit about Simple Measures. What is this cool venture that we're all involved in here?
Well, we're in our 4th season. We started this about 4 years ago. I had been thinking the whole time, for a long time before that, about how to make music performance that reaches an audience more easily. And so I came up with this idea really based on some house concerts that we presented a little while ago, where we talked with the audience and sort of it was very educational and sort of bring them into the music. And so that seemed to me to be a new concert presentation style, which is really based on the audience's enjoyment. Instead of just making it, you know, in the concert hall, it's all about how you can get the musicians so that their mindset is just right, and you go into the concert hall and then they come out and they do their best performance. But with the house concert feel, you're interacting with the audience all the time, and it's perhaps a little harder for the performers, but it's very compelling for the audience. And so that's our model. And what we do is we have themes. Each concert is based around a central theme, and we choose pieces from that harmonize with that theme. And instead of doing entire long pieces, we have individual movements, which gives the opportunity for a great deal of variety. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of fun because the audience, you know, it's sort of like all these little sound bites of sound rather than a long piece. And we do a lot of explaining and bringing people in so that they really understand how to relate to the music. And then on the second half, we often have a larger work, which sort of brings together all of the ideas that we've been talking to the audience about. The audiences seem to be really enjoying that sort of interactive quality where they can actually ask questions of the performers right there in the middle of the performance. And we perform these all in very unusual, informal venues like community centers, and we have a coffee house that we play in, and various places like that. So it's very immediate. You sit very close to the performers. It's a great experience. Mm-hmm. People seem to be enjoying it a lot. So
tell me about some of the places that you like to perform Simple Measures concerts.
Yeah, well, one of our favorite places is the Q Cafe. It's a kind of a large cafe that's run by the Quest Church in Interbay, and it's a very sort of eclectic feel to it. It has, you know, art on the walls, and it's a coffee house, so there's actually, they serve coffee at intermission and stuff like that. We also play in community centers, which has sometimes a little bit of sort of fluorescent light thing, but it has that sort of community feel to it, and it's just down the street. So we love to be just down the street instead of far away downtown or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That must be exciting as a musician to have that interaction with the audience. You get interesting questions and thoughts about the music.
Yeah, it's fun. I think it also makes it a little more difficult to perform because you have to be talking with the audience and then all of a sudden you have to sit down and play a Beethoven string quartet. So it's a different kind of mindset, you know. But the point there is that it's compelling for the audience. And that's what we do at Simple Measures, is what's going to make this a really great show for the audience, not how are we going to make it so that the musicians can feel most comfortable, right? But the immediacy of that interaction is really a lot of fun. It makes, I think if you asked our musicians, they'd say that it's a lot of fun to have that situation, and especially the informality, the give and take. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. You have examples of interactions with folks in the audience that stick with you?
Well, one of the most fun things we did, I think, was last fall, the first concert of last fall, where we did actually an election theme. And what we had is we had 2 sets of pieces, pairs of pieces, and each one of the pieces was from 2 different parties. We had the Reformist Party and the Traditionalist Party, And one was sort of a typical example, and these two pairs of pieces were all written within a year of each other. For instance, we had a Brahms viola sonata paired with the Debussy string quartet, Debussy being the reformist and Brahms being the traditionalist, both written within a year of 1894. And then the audience got to vote on which one they wanted, whether they wanted the reformist or the traditionalist candidate. And so there was actually an election there, and this was of course about a month before the big November election where we elected Obama president. Seattle being such a sort of progressive kind of place, they tended to choose the reformist candidate. And so
yeah. Well, what does that do to you as a musician to see people having really spirited conversations about classical music?
I really think that that's the wave of the future. It has to come alive for people. It has to be something compelling, and not, we got to get away from this thing where you're expected to know stuff, and if you don't know stuff you feel a little uncomfortable, like you should know it, you know. Forget about that. Just come, don't worry about it, have a good time, we'll bring you through it.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important aspect.
It's exciting to me as an audience member to go to a concert where there's Boccherini, who's a kind of classical area composer, and it goes to modern composers who I've never even experienced before, and you program it in a way that's an exciting ride. I'm with you all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, like last concert in February of this year, we had Boccherini, as you mentioned, and then we had Hendrix and Zeppelin, or music inspired by Led Zeppelin. So it's really fun to do those juxtapositions of old and new. And for instance, that concert had everyone from John Dowland, who's a Renaissance composer from the 1600s, all the way up to something that was composed within the last 10 years. So there was a little something for everybody there.
Uh-huh. That was great. That's great. What has it meant for you to be able to do Simple Measures, to see it be very successful, to present this kind of alternative way of doing chamber music concerts in this area?
Well, I tell you, Dave, it's really about finding the 21st century paradigm for classical music presentation. I know there's a lot of experimentation out there right now, and that's really what I'm looking for. I hope that people steal the ideas that I've come up with and start incorporating them. I frankly, personally feel that there's a lot that could be done, even in the symphony orchestra, to sort of loosen up the format and, for heaven's sake, get rid of those silly 19th century outfits we're still wearing. But just to loosen it up and make it more user-friendly, you know? And I think that's definitely the wave of the future. It's been shown that that's what's important. And so it's nothing less than finding a new paradigm for classical music presentation. It's my conjecture that it's not... that if people aren't coming to classical music concerts, it's not because of the music is great if you sit down and listen to it. I've never heard of people that haven't been somehow moved by a performance presented in the right context.
Yeah. It's amazing when you adjust little things about classical concerts, how big a difference it could make. Just the clothes you wear, or the venue in which it's presented, and the spirit in which it's presented, and that's what you're getting at with Simple Measures.
Absolutely. One thing that's important for us is that the audience is allowed to come however they want to. They can, you know, they don't have to dress up at all, because it's supposed to be just something you go to enjoy. You know, you don't dress up for a movie, you don't dress up for a rock concert. You don't have to dress up to listen to classical music. It's just music. It's entertainment, you know? And so that's something that's important. And then we wear a little bit nicer clothes sometimes. But on the other hand, last concert, we had a change of outfit in the middle, and we ended up wearing jeans and flannel shirts to look sort of Nirvana for our rock part where there was electric guitar. So yeah, you know, we like to mix it up.
Yeah, good. So I've been talking with Rajan Krishnaswami, the cellist and artistic director of Simple Measures, this innovative chamber music organization based here in Seattle. Rajan Krishnaswami, thank you so much for talking with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Dave. I always like to talk about Simple Measures and what the things we're doing.
So I'm Dave Beck, a announcer and producer at KUW Public Radio, and it's been my pleasure to work with the Simple Measures board and with our artistic director Rajan, and thank you for tuning in.
For upcoming concert information, visit our website at simplemeasures.org.